नुक्तची है गम दिल उसको सुनाए न बने क्या बने बात जहां बात बनाए न बने. Hello and good evening. You're all welcome into the yet another Sunday evening 7 p.m. IST Sheetalaf Conversation show. This is your host Jugal Koul greeting you on the August Sunday of November, and it fills me with immense pleasure and joy to see you all again on this Sunday, glued into this wonderful conversation, historic conversation. Today is our 71st illustrious historic show, and we began in last year 2021 in April, and since then it has been a wonderful journey. We have been just going and stretching our arm, our imagination, our memories, our nostalgia to the streaks of sun in our backyard century and backyard centuries, millennia, ancient times, medieval times, historic times, and more so, especially in the contemporary times. So we have always been. This has been a great, wonderful, enriching, and thrilling journey for all of us. We all have started loving this journey, and through and through, we have been able to bring forth this whole mosaic of Kashmir, this wonderful land, the land, this part of the country, which is known as Crown of India. It is a place which was known as Shardadesh, which has been respected, still is respected in symbols, symbology, religious symbology, spiritual symbology, cultural symbology. It is being respected. People, face towards the north, towards Shardadesh and respect because we had one of the greatest universities over there, and it is from thousands and people, thousands of students used to visit this place for studying various subjects, various areas of subjects. And Shankaracharya became he was Shankar. He became Shankaracharya after we visited Sharda Desh in Kashmir. And we had, a number of people. I mean, I should not repeat it again, but we know that we had great aestheticians, great musicians. Sharang Dev's, forefathers, they were from Kashmir, and the place of the Sharang Dev in the Indian Karnataka Gharana of music. And then we had Kumarajivi, and we had this Nagarjuna, whole moving from here to the many parts of the world, and and then statistician like who wrote Bharat Muni's commentary on the Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra in Abhinav Bharati. So all these great, wonderful people, Shambhunatha, Mamatacharya, Balbana, Kalhana, the great writer. And in contemporary times, in the modern times, we also had people like Hyun Song, we had people like Erstwhile, Mike Moorcraft, young husband, Lawrence. I mean, they might have a subjectivity in their attitude. I can understand that. Maybe Moorcraft was a bit subjective while defining the Kashmiri temperament. But then again, their information, their knowledge is based on research and authenticity. So Kashmir stories cannot be lied. Kashmir is a delight to watch. And whenever we go to our strength of the past, certainly we emerge as a wonderful Indian, wonderful people whose legacies are unparalleled and sagacious. So we have been able to do, by and large, step by step, try to, touch some wonderful aromatic flowers around. And maybe it was from the DP, the great diplomat and the politician who was instrumental in forging the robust alliance with the USSR and India. And his 71 war role in the 71 war is very well known. And to the buzz of coffee house, buzz and bustle of coffee house, in a coffee house at Residency Road, where the connoisseurs of art, literature, artists, philosophers, professors, bankers, general commuters moved into this, and those laughters and guffaws of sipping the coffee and the streaks of coffee and the smoke. Even people like Emma Hussain and all the great masters have visited that place. Who can just even forget those streaks still echo in our minds? And then we had we talked about the great doctors duo, the Girjadar and Dr. Nasir, and their love, which finally expanded and blossomed into the universal love. They expanded, encapsulated the entire humanity and service, and another couple doctor, Dr. Trusu and Jagat Mohini, their edifice of work in Ratan Rani Hospital, which everybody knows. Mahmouda Shadi, we talked about Mahmouda Shadi, the great emancipator, the great personality who brought the great educationist who brought forth the concept of emancipation and empowerment of women. I mean, you can tell we have Ramchand Kak story of Ramchand Kak, his exile years, wonderful years, his contributions, which nobody knew, which he was. I mean, he was forgotten into the history. And then we also talked about Ghulam Rasul Santosh, his voyage, his inquisitivity, his quest with the tantric geometry, with the Shaktipat, with this philosophy, going deeper and deeper and deeper into which is with this inner depth and inner passion. And then we had the story of Mim Hai Zafar, whose association with the Kashmir Turkish Shastra was very amazing. I mean, we had a number of things we talked about. We talked about the springs of Anantnag, the beautiful springs of Anantnag, the beautiful place of Anantnag, the hustle and bustle around across the Vitasta, on the banks of Vitasta, those ghats and that civilization, that glitter of that civilization, and also the waterways, the aqua rich Rainavari, the life over there, the hustle and bustle over there, and all these things around. And I think we have also been talking about in these shows the great Kashmiris who moved out from Kashmir and lived in the other parts of the India and the parts of the world and became the connoisseurs of art, became the courtiers of the great kingdoms of before the pre-partition India times, and later on they also became the prime ministers of small kingdoms, and later on the independence after independent India, they became the first two prime ministers from the Kashmiris, and then we had people like generals, first judge of the Indian origin that was a Kashmiri Pandit, and all many people, the army people, the connoisseurs, the leaders, the literateurs, all those. So this has been a wonderful journey. The 70th milestone beckon has been able to enlarge our vision and take us back, catapult us back to our streaks of our wonderful, colorful, salubrious, civilized. So, what would I like to say? I would like to say that this is a great occasion that we have met again today, and we are going to talk about something different, something unusual, because today we are coming out with a wonderful topic of unsung maestros, 20th century unsung maestros of 20th century. I remember one couplet of Ghalib: "दर्द जब दिल में हो तो दवा कीजिए, दिल ही जब दर्द हो तो क्या कीजिए." Sometimes this particular couplet and many other couplets on the pain of these great poets, they provoke me rather to a very different dimension and a very different. I really want to take away the clouds of mystery from the great maestros of our contemporary times, maybe the cinematic geniuses, literateurs, or artists, and what happened in their lives that their lives terminated all of a sudden, and they took refuge to the alcoholism. They took refuge to they became restless. They became depressed, uh, maybe because of many. There could be many. It is a very debatable point, and still, till now, we have not been able to understand and go deep into the root cause of this whole indulgence and the termination of life. Van Gogh's story is very open that till the time he was alive, nobody recognized him, and when he died, now you can see the dichotomy of our times. His portraiture, his scheming and landscape sells in millions of rupees across across the world. Great and most prestigious, these places of art. And then you can talk about Ritik Ghatak, the Bengali great filmmaker whose films earlier and the films later, the incomplete films also, they are like a book of reference for another cinema, another dimensions. And then we can talk about who doesn't know about Guru Dutt Ji, his film, the maker of Pyasa, Sahabi Aur Gulam, Chaudhry Ka Chand, Bazi, and he finally, at the young age of 39, his life was taken away, and it deprived this whole world from his genius, because his astounding and stunning art was very unparalleled. And somewhere down the line, this clock stopped when Kagaz Ke Phool, which now is known as cult classic, failed miserably on the box office and his creativity stopped. Something happens to these creative geniuses. We cannot take the outer dimension of alcoholism, restlessness, other things. Maybe the societal parameters are there. But somewhere down the line, as Shiv Batalvi says, somewhere I remember one of his couplet, very old, essence of its couplet, I've forgotten the couplet now, that, my love, my pain is as old as the existence, is much, much before the sun came into existence. So somewhere down the line, he gave us a hint of this restlessness. But how it manifests into the human conduct of an artist is to be interpreted by the great connoisseurs, researchers in the coming times. I must also tell you one thing more. It has been always time immemorially a practice that the great geniuses, unsung heroes, as title of our today's show is. I mean, there have been great geniuses, wonderful geniuses. You can say Nal Damayanti paintings on the Amar Museum, Jammu. The artists are not known. And there are great artists. You can see, I have a theater critique. I've been writing for 40 years. I don't write every day. I write occasionally, but when I feel like writing. I feel like it's not a mediocre writing. I've been writing since 40 years. My columns are there. They can there. I remember Mohan Rakesh, the great contemporary playwright who wrote Ashar Ka Ek Din. He, tells in his play that Kalidas and Vilom, they were the contemporaries. Vilom was, used to say, Vilom kaun hai? Vilom ek hara hua Kalidas hai. But Vilom was much, much ahead of Kalidas. But he was not recognized. But he was into the hearts of everyone. Same is about Zoc and Ghalib. You must be know Ghalib in his lifetime was not didn't achieve the great one of the greatest epitome of this ghazal was that poetry that Ghalib wrote. But it was not during his lifetime, and he knew it. He has said it somewhere. But Zoc was the courtier. He was the person who was celebrated. These things sustain. They take a lot of time. Art flows from centuries to century, and then today we are going to talk about one of the great artists, maestro from Kashmir. He who has been under the tutelage of Razvi, who has been under the tutelage of the great masters of his own times, who visited Kashmir and created the institution like Amar Singh Technical Institution of Art, which has very greatest exponents of the art. Who have spread all over the country, who are known all over the country, whose prodigies and progenies are still working. They are known everywhere. So we are going to talk about this man. He has been under the tutelage of Raza Saab, great international expressionist, great international painter who settled in France but had been to Kashmir for a part of time, created this environment, and probably in the Dogra route. So we're going to talk about his life, his art, his times, and we are going to, in detail talk about. And today we are very much fortunate that we have once again invited, and we have in our studio Avtar Mota ji. Who doesn't know the name of Avtar Mota ji? He is a man whose blogs are loved across. Millions and millions of people love his blogs. He has lakhs of people love his blogs. Not only he doesn't only his topics don't relate to the Kashmir only. They are of the international eminence. He was in America. He wrote about American art, American literature. Wherever he goes, he puts into heart and blood and toil into his subject, goes deeper into its essence, then comes out with something very real, very truthful, very flowering, very aromatic. And that's how his blog works, and everybody loves his blog. It's not only for the information, it's for the cross section. There are very few writers like him, very few researchers like him in the contemporary times who take so much of pain. Probably he doesn't write for a name. It is his passion to go deeper and deeper into the subjects, and his subjects are a very, very wide spectrum. They are ranged from art, culture, literature, public life, and those are very handy and very experiencing, very enriching and exhilarating. He's a wonderful human being. He's my elder brother, like my elder brother, and a great friend. And he has been one of the pillars and pillars of Sheetalam Conversations. We had many free sessions with him already. And he has been a great author. His book we reviewed in the over 46th episode, that was The Lifts and the Snowstorm is a wonderful storybook, beautiful storybook, talking about the humor, tragedies, and other his anecdotes as well as the stories he has written. It's a beautiful book. It is taken very well by the present day connoisseurs people. I also wanted to review this book, but I'm very slow. I have very slow speed to get up. So, but it is a wonderful book. It really inspired me and thousands of people who have read this book. Today, he's also with another wonderful book on the journey of Kashmiri art and about Bansi Parmuji, a great Kashmiri artist. It's this book. I heard that this book has gone to the Amazon now. Its name is Landscape Lament of Art, Exile, and Rebel. Probably Rebel is Bansi Parmu. So we'll be talking about this book as well. We'll be talking about other wonderful things that Avtar Motaji, because he's an enriched, he's a plenty of knowledge. He's an encyclopedia personality, genuine, honest, deep, that you are very fortunate to have in our show. So let's welcome with great, wonderful, great reverence, affection, and regards to our contemporary encyclopedia, contemporary, blogger, researcher, author, the brilliant man, a warm personality, a humanistic, my friend, Avtar Motaji. Avtarji, you're welcome into Shitanath Conversation 71st show.
Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar. Good evening to everybody. Thank you very much for calling me. Thank you for this beautiful show. This show, I think, currently is the only show that informs and educates and talks about truth. And of course, as per the today's program, talks about people who have not been sung, in spite of their immense contribution in social life, art, literature, and so many arenas. Thank you very much once again. Thank you for
Thanks,
this
Avtarji.
beautiful show.
Thanks, Avtarji. You are always an inspiring person. And it's always, whenever, we have some situation, you are the only person we approach. And certainly, this is amazingly, I think I feel very much delighted to find you once again. And you are in the public demand as well. It's not only my liking, everybody wants
Thank
to
you.
listen.
Thank you. I thank everybody. Everybody.
So, before we proceed further, talk about today's topic, Somnath Barsab, the Van Gogh known as Van Gogh of Kashmir. We'll be like to. I like to begin first of all because we know as we started this show, I had this whole idea, the noble idea in my mind, to integrate the society to through the art, promote art, literature, music, musicology, know about our past history, and rejuvenate, bath and bask into this its grandeur, its aroma. But what happened over the years, I have seen because uh, I never allow the personalities, the people, although everybody has a right to talk the way they think, right the way they think. But I feel like there are a lot many people nowadays. There's a cropping up. A crop of these half-read, half-baked, half-truth-based historians, contemporary historians. Although I am a ferocious supporter of one thing, that the classroom historians and the parallel historian. Parallel historians is more authentic, more research-based, more unbiased, but he has to be unbiased. Today I can find that people are talking about they speak of half truths, they write in the chronicles, they make their own chronicles, and then they spread it all over. It brings hate, sectarianism, delusion in the society. And I have been approached by many people, till now, through the friends and other people. I have no harm. I am a person who loves everyone and allows everybody his own space. But then again, as per the guidelines, as per the objectives of this wonderful program, is in a very humble state, I would like to say, I have refused because I cannot go against the core essence of this program. So I really want a personality like you, who has traveled so much, who's so deep into the wide subjects, and you go very perfectly into the every subject, every aspect, every fiber of the subject. What is this all about? This cropping up half read, half truth historians? They are doing a great disservice to us. Could you please elaborate, if you can throw some light on this whole business and gamut which is happening nowadays?
Unfortunately, Of late, many books are coming from our state. I may not name the authors or books in specific, but I found that some books published in our state presently are far from truth. These books fall in the category of fabrications or half truths. The authors of these books have not gone to the primary sources. If you don't go to the primary sources, what can you do? You will only copy paste what others have done, what others have written about any issue, anything. They better, I would suggest to them, they better learn Sanskrit and Persian, as most of our old books have been written in these languages. A person who does not know Sanskrit should not write on any book that has been published or written in Sanskrit. A person who does not know Persian should not write on any book, comment on any book that has been written in Persian, and he should not base his source on translations, because
Right.
translations is also a perception of the other person. That person may be wrong, the person who has translated a book or who has commented on a book. So before picking up pens, I would request them to go to the primary sources. I found the study of these authors elementary. I took some books with me to America, and one book I presented to a person. He returned the book next day. Said, "This is elementary. This is elementary book. The author lacks knowledge. He has not done any serious work. These books are meant to impress ignorant people, to survey, to present a narrative, or to feed what people in general want. But what people in general want to be told may not be the truth. The truth may reside somewhere that people don't want to read or know. All these books fall upon intellectual scrutiny or a scholar's sight, they fall to the ground. They are books for a day. They cannot survive, they cannot live long. You may feed few people, you may feed few ignorant people with these books, with these narratives, but they ultimately, on intellectual scrutiny, they fall. That is my saying. And I have a touchstone. A touchstone.
Yeah.
I Fortunately, I have heard Swami Ranganathananda
Oh,
twice. I have personally heard him, Swami Ranganathananda. He defined what is a writer. He gave some parameters to assess a writer, whether he is a good writer, he is a bad writer, he is to be read or he is not to be read. These parameters, for the benefit of the listeners, I will elaborate these parameters. These parameters are that a good writer, an intellectual, genuine intellectual, is nobody's friend. He is nobody's friend. He is nobody's foe. He has no enemy. He is nobody's close friend. Because if you become a close friend, you become subjective.
yes.
You ignore others. You become subjective. So a good writer is nobody's close friend, and he is nobody's enemy. Enemy. And Swamiji said that a good writer is like Kabir's quotation. Kabira khada bazar mein, सबकी मांगे खैर, ना काहू से दोस्ती, ना काहू
Like
से
house.
बैर.
Beautiful.
And then he is his own teacher. A good writer, a writer who deviates from the much traveled track, he is his own teacher. He is his own teacher in the sense that he applies the doctrine of neti neti. He corrects himself by application of the doctrine. This is a Vedic doctrine of neti neti. Nobody knows, no artist knows, no writer knows, no painter knows, no novelist knows that he is applying the doctrine of neti neti, the Vedic doctrine. What is neti
Not
neti?
this,
For example, I will
not this,
simplify
not
it.
this.
Not this, not this, not this. Supposing I write a short story. I read the short story. I find this is not closer to the truth. It is not. This is not what my mind, what my heart actually wants. So I tear it apart, throw it away, and write it again. I read it, I find that there is some problem. Again, it's not up to the standard, up to my mind. What your mind wants, what your mind desires, that may be the truth. Then finally, a
Right.
stage comes when you say that, oh, it is perfect. This is what I wanted. So, in between, you have applied the process of neti neti, not this, not this, not this, and ultimately, yes, this. So, this is actually Vedic doctrine to arrive at the ultimate reality. This is not reality. This is not reality. This is not reality. This is not reality. This could be the reality. This way, this neti concept, every writer unknowingly applies, every painter unknowingly applies, every storyteller unknowingly applies. This Swamiji said that the genuine intellectual, genuine writer goes through a process of neti. He is his own teacher. Third, he said that he is into the ordinariness. He is into the ordinariness of this world, but always about. He is ordinary, but to others he is extraordinary. For him, he may live simply, he may do ordinary things, he may act like a child, but he is extraordinary. In his output, he is extraordinary. In his intellect, he is out. This also implies when you are up, you are in the world, but above the world.
Yes.
So this applies that you are detached. You are detached. So every genuine author, genuine writer has to apply a little bit of detachment. Detachment to many things. Unless you apply that, you cannot be a genuine writer. This is Swamiji what told. And fourth, he said, his thoughts, actions, and deeds are meant to integrate human beings, unite and connect. If he fails on these aspects, he is not a writer. He is not a genuine writer. He is doing no service to the humanity at large if he fails on these aspects. And then he possesses extraordinary memory. So these are five touchstones that Swamiji told you must weigh. See a writer whether these he falls under these points, that he should be nobody's friend and he should be close friend, and he should be nobody's foe. He should be his own teacher and apply the concept of neti. He should be in the world but up above the world. And his thoughts and deeds and actions should integrate, unite, and connect. And he must possess extraordinary memory. I apply these points I apply to assess a writer, especially the writers you were commenting upon. If they don't apply to them, I will not read their books also.
That's so wonderful. That's so wonderful. So
I would yes, go.
please, sir. That's so wonderful. I
No, no,
mean,
no,
you are given this
no,
whole
you
paradigm.
start.
Yeah, what writers should be, and the
I
Swami.
would, like you to begin the question, me questioning me. Before that, I would uh, read a poem for my
Right.
readers. It is a beautiful poem. I wanted to share it with everybody by Sayyid Rasul Pampur. He's a Kashmiri poet. I will read this poem in Kashmiri also, and I will read its translation done by our Guru, Dr. Shekhar Toshkani. Beautiful translation, beautiful translation. I have yet to find such a good translation of a Kashmiri poem by any person, as has been done by Dr. Shekhar Toshkani. I will read this poem in Kashmiri and then read it Hindi translation by Shekhar Toshkani, and then you can start questioning me. The poem is by Sayyid Rasul Pampur. It's a beautiful poem. Sonzal Rangan Hans, Baharuk Jashin, Zantu Golalav, Ratzul Kormut, Chet Chen, Sotre Alfal, Sont Havavas, Volinch Kuran, Sani Azal Samyuk, Yendrit Thok, Ye Chot, Ye Sabaz, Ye Anar, Ye Ledur, Ye Wazul, Tos Katan,
Yeah.
Ye Sandar, Talwar the Foot, who Gash Taruk Tipia Wes, Nilis Akashas, Ober Nabas, Kunmat Wish. Pasi Hindis Unpatis Chu, Dot Wasan, Panni Angzari, to Arup Buchis, Haban His, Ye Sonzal Wichit, Mat Winter, Zibyamaran Sandor. Don't say that the patient has recovered totally.
Oh, beautiful.
I will read out what great Shashi Shekhar Toshkani ji has, how he beautifully has translated it. He has named the poem in translation Bahar Ka Utsav. Bahar Ka Utsav, Arunima Anant Gulalon ki, खाली अकेले सूती हल, जैसे वसंती हवा के कलेजे में चुभे हुए चरखा थक गया, हमारे भाग्य का, समय का, ये सफेद, ये हरा, ये अनारी, ये रंग का, ये पीला, ये लाल पश्मीना काटते काटते, ये फीके रंग जोड़ते जोड़ते, ये तलवार भी आधे चांद की टूट गई, वो भोर का तारा भी गिर गया, वो नील गगन मेघा छन मत देखो आस्था के दर्पण छत पर बरस रहे हैं ओले, दर्पण के टुकड़े जोड़कर क्या देखोगे, अपने
Wow.
असंख्य आकारहीन चेहरे, रंगों का तलवार नुमा ये पारे का इंद्रधनुष देख, ये मत कहो कि बीमार ठीक हो गए.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. You can start.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's so wonderful. Avtarji, that's so wonderful. This poem is beautiful, and you're translated very well. And
Not me, not me. Dr. Shishekar Toshkhani.
Shekhar Toshkani ji. But
The
translation is also
translation beautiful than the original poem. That's why I try to read it out so that everybody could listen it.
Uh, Mota Sahab, before we got there are a number of things we need to discuss because we are
Yes.
societal. You move and ramble into the all societal dimensions. So certainly, what is happening in society of literature, art, and everything, they are the sub bases, substratus of the society. I would like to say that nowadays there's another particular thing which I listen very commonly about this myopic. I should not name anyone, but myopic is not it's not an abuse. It's a metaphor. I would like to say that there are not many people who just are saying that all anything around doesn't have anything authentic around any books, literary books, marvels, treatises around doesn't have the archaeological evidence. How foolish, premature, and myopic seems to be this. Denying, as I said earlier, Kashmir is one place, and rather India, North India is one place, Kashmir especially, where people cannot lie. Because we are, drawn and we are already into the chronicles, books of the world, and the visitors and the authors. I really want to know this another delusion which is being reinforced by some section of people. I don't know why. And what have you to say about it?
This is a very large question. It will consume a lot of time. In spite of that, the time constant, I will say you that what for do you need archaeological evidence? What for do you need? When you have destroyed the archaeological evidence, it doesn't exist. Say, for example, let's talk about paintings of Kashmir. You have enough evidence in the literature. You have enough. If you don't have archaeological evidence, you have enough evidence in the literature, and in the destroyed state also, you have even enough evidence. You have sculpture. You have enough
Yes.
evidence. You must visit the museums of the world. Most of the I have been repeatedly telling this thing that most of the museums of the world shine because entire art from Kashmir has been stolen, almost entire. What remains there is only 40%. 60% of the Kashmir art lies in entire museums of the world. American museums are shining. I don't say it's good or bad, that is separate question. But at least they are protected there. They are shining. The Russian museums in China, museum in Pakistan, you have Kashmiri art everywhere. In the Metropolitan Museum of Art, you have a Kashmir art section. So you have to read the literature also. Enough evidence exists. If it does not exist on the ground physically, it exists in the books. Read the literature of China, read the literature of Tibet, read Tajikistan literature. You will find reference of I found reference of Kashmiri painting, Kashmir art in Tajik literature. A book in
Oh,
Tajikistan referring to Kashmiri paintings, Kashmiri art. So if you try to search evidence in places which have been destroyed, what will you get? You get nothing. You get Kashmiri painting evidence in Ladakh, where it is preserved,
yes.
where it has not been destroyed. You get Kashmiri art in Tibet, where it has not been destroyed. Go to the interior of Himachal Pradesh, you find it, Kashmiri art. So, and then I will tell you a funny thing, what you told me. A person, I will not name any person, a person telephoned me that I am doing a research work on Nag worship in Kashmir. Did it exist?
Nagavad.
I said it existed. Nag worship in Kashmir, not in Kashmir only, in the entire state J&K. In entire J&K state, there were some temples in Kashmir also dedicated to the Naga worship, where people were worshipping Nagas. Serpent worship, it was there.
Certainly.
And then I gave him some references also, some help also. So he was told that it doesn't exist archaeological. There is no archaeological evidence. This subject will not stand. You have enough evidence in the literature. How can you say that Naga worship was not done in Kashmir when your oldest and the loftiest and the most popular story is Himal Nagrai? Nagrai is a king of Nagas, serpent king. This is story told to every Kashmiri household.
He's
Similarly,
traveled. Yes, yeah.
similarly, sun worship. Your biggest temple in Kashmir is dedicated to sun god,
Martin.
Martan, the
Martin.
biggest temple. So how can you say that sun worship was not performed in Kashmir? My research says that the Ajaivika tribe also lived in Kashmir. I can establish it. It will come in a book, maybe 2023, that a tribe of Ajaivikas, those who have been found in Bihar, those who have been found in Nalanda, other places, on the rock paintings, they lived in Bihar. Jainism existed in Kashmir.
Yeah,
The
Janet
Jainism
existed.
exists in Kashmir, and Buddhism, of course, certainly you know, Shaivism, you know. So, archaeological evidence is not the only evidence. You have to leave the literature. Your literature is full of evidence. It is evidence.
And authors, great authors, authentic
Yes,
authors.
great authors, great authors. That is not the archaeological evidence. Is not the only evidence. You have evidence. You have stories in the folklore, and you have literature. Your literature is full of, and then you have to study cross literature also. Our books have also traveled to many places. Dushanbe, Central Asia Library in Dushanbe, the library has 30 books from Kashmir, manuscripts in Persian, in Sanskrit also. They have gone to that place. Some people have carried it, they are safe there. But if you read them, then only you can say that this was happening in Kashmir. In Kashmir, you can't get these books. So your literature is the biggest source. You must read it. Not on the archaeological, not only then tomorrow you can say that Laldet did not exist because we have failed to create any proof of Laldet on the ground. We have erected whatever space was or whatever land was available in Pampur, that was Laltrag, that has been taken over. The construction activity, or it's over. Laldet does not exist on ground. Can you say that Laldet did not exist at all?
She's in our heart. She's
That's
in our
what I want
hearts.
to say.
She's in our
She's in
folklore.
the heart. She's in your folklore. She's in your text. She's in your conduct. She's in your conduct. What you do.
All grandees and great ladies, they used to sing lalwak and do the work. That was how the whole this culture was all about. Avtarji, very wonderfully you spoke on this, and certainly this must open eyes of many people who have this very closed vision. I also tell them that open your vision, read more, go to the masters, go to
Truth,
the real
truth,
people,
truth,
the real
truth,
researchers.
truth. Then only
Go to
you
the search.
stick to the truth. Stick to the truth. And to my request to the writers who write history presently, read Sanskrit, read Persian. The man who knows
Persian,
Persian, I will welcome. I will read his book in translation. Who has translated from original Persian, but a person who has copy pasted, who has tried to twist the translator, because a translator can err. I I find for this reason I find that R.S. Pandit had better understanding of Sanskrit. He was a Sanskrit scholar. His translation of Raj Tarangni is a little
is better.
better than Stein. Stein has done some mistakes. He has admitted in correspondence that this is a mistake. This is a mistake. To his friends, he has admitted because I had not that much of knowledge of Sanskrit. For this, I relied on the Pandit who helped me in translation. At 2 3 places, he has admitted to, but very elaborate, very scholarly work, and
Yeah,
there is no factual error in that.
I
In
actually
footnotes, here,
when I was searching for this Raj Tarangri and Motilal Kemoji said, Jugalji, I'll get you one. And he brought one. It was Pandit's. And it was written somewhere that he had written that Jawaharlal Nehru and we were in prison. And Nehru told me that, what are you
yes,
doing? I'm writing this book. You write something, work on Raj Tarangani. And then that's where he started
because
work.
Pandit was a Sanskrit scholar. He
He
translated
was
the
a great scholar,
manuscript, Sanskrit scholar, and
Sanskrit scholar.
his interpretations and wonderful notes. He has read Vedas also. He has knowledge of Vedas, many manuscripts, ancient texts of Sanskrit. So his work should definitely be more elaborate and more to the point and more specific.
Most
But
intelligent book.
at the same time, Stein's work is elaborate, is
first one, original first.
is outstanding, and there is no factual inaccuracy in his stance work.
Yeah, I mean, they have this, especially
In
they had this
footnote,
methodology.
in footnotes, in arriving at certain places, certain issues, he has not clarified. Three, four places I found that he has not clarified properly, the way R.S. Pandit has clarified because of his Sanskrit knowledge. Yes,
Yeah,
we already
beautiful
consumed
notes.
much of time.
No, it's wonderful. Avtarji, I would like to say that now we move a bit into slightly into the history. Now we are talking about the history, and history is such a fascinating subject. And you said Niyati, and it is not a very far past when we were, taken away from the clutches of these invaders, like the brutal Afghans, and then many foreign, even Mughals treated. Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah had said in one opening speech in those days that these people treated Kashmir as their Sarga and Ashga. And such a tall leader of the modern Kashmir, he said this because he could understand the essence of this entire thing. And Dogra rule, I think it came as a rejuvenation, irrespective of whether subject was Muslim or Hindu. They were unequivocally. They have done great things for them. They've developed many wonderful institutions, the colleges, the study centers. Even they rejuvenated and reinvented many things. Tell us something about the Dogra rulers, because you have a very wide research on this subject. I wanted to bring you for that, but we'll do it in the future. Tell us something about the great works done
Uh,
by the
I'll be I'll be brief because we have to devote time to the basic
yes,
issue.
please.
I'll be briefly telling that Dogras gave everything to the state. Let us be very clear. You must not deny what they gave. They gave us roads, they gave us railways, they gave us airport, they gave us electricity, they gave us drinking water, they gave us education colleges, they gave us hospitals, they gave us industry, they gave us the tourist places. They developed them. The boulevard on the Dal is Maharaja Hari Singh's creation. So
Beautiful.
the hospitals, the a robust judicial system, Rambir Penal Code they gave us, and art
Ramir
and culture, the land bandobast, the settlement of land was done by Maharaja Pratap Singh. And the first art college in the state was opened by Maharaja Pratap Singh, Amar Singh Technical Institute. So art, artisans, the design, everything came from that institution. We had traditional designs also, but the improvement, traditional designs, carpet designs, they came from certainly from Persia, Central Asia, but
Asia,
they updated them. They updated, they increased the quality of design. They created artists. The first artists that came to the valley were through Amar Singh Technical Institute, and Technical Institute was created by Dogra. They created the colleges, schools, Jabri schools, where people were employed to drag out people who are not going to the school. They would come and drag people out to take them to schools. They stopped many bad things in the society. They relaxed the taxation system. Begar they put to the end. So you cannot say कि Dogra rule. It was almost a modern rule, a opening of a modern rule in our state, exposure to modern rule, modern governance in our state that the Dogras brought.
yes, that's
It
true.
is a very big issue, big issue. We'll
Talk
discuss
about.
sometime. Talk about
I
sometime.
was recently looking at the ma'am, GM Shah's wife, Khalida Shah. Khalida Shah was speaking to some, she spoke very well. She said that Maharaja Hari Singh treated uh, uh, all the subjects
Justice
equally.
is my religion. His slogan was "Justice is my religion."
That's my religion.
We will
And he
not
said
discuss
that
the political
yeah, not
issues, the
political,
47
respectfully,
details.
not a
They are
political
other
forum.
stories.
She
Ah,
said something that the Maharaja Hari Singh, when some foreigner, the outsider Muslim, he came, he saw some women around there, Gujar women around there. He said he asked him that what are these women? Can I interact with them? And Maharaja Hari Singh told him immediately vacate, take out your baggage and go back to. So she wanted to convey that how people
concerned he
friendly,
was.
concerned, and they should treat all the people same way. Not this is
And
my
Maharaja Hari Singh spoke fluent Kashmiri. Fluent Kashmiri.
he spoke.
Fluent
Really,
Kashmiri.
I don't know.
Fluent.
I don't know about
Oh, yes. You ask any elderly person, he was the only Maharaja who spoke fluent Kashmiri.
brilliant man, brilliant man. Now let's come to to today's topic, Avtarji. People are waiting to know about this Van Gogh of Kashmir, Somnath Bhatt Sahab. who worked under the tutelage of Raza Sahab. And I don't know, I mean, expressionism was in fashion, in vogue in those days across the world. It went from here, and then the Tantra art and other things were coming up in the world. And this, geometries and other things, cubism and other things were there. But he is considered to be one of the great legendary maestro of the modern art in Kashmir. And his color scheming, I've heard somewhere the connoisseurs in the West were very much stunned and impressed. Tell us something about, let's begin with, today's topic, what Avtarji has to say about Somnath, the maestro.
Before 1947, in the first quarter of 20th century, the art that I will not talk about the traditional art, that the shawls and the gabbas, namdas, carpets, paper mache. It's also unfortunately a very huge art, a very heritage art, but we have failed to give it a status of art. As in Russia, as in some European countries, wood carving is a piece of art. Here, wood carving is not piece of art. It is something between the artisan and the trader. We have failed to recognize it as a aesthetic art, that handicraft sector, that what art, our artisans are doing. I will come straightway to paintings because the subject is paintings. Before first quarter, what paintings we would generally see? We would see only illustrated manuscripts, paintings
Yes.
put in the manuscripts that were illustrated, either Persian or Sanskrit manuscripts, or religious paintings for Hindus, gods, Shiva, Bhagavati, goddesses, Uma, these paintings, and Mughal miniatures. When Mughals came, they brought their own miniature, Mughal miniature. These paintings were only seen in Kashmir. People in Kashmir who had heard that there is a painter known as Degas, there is a painter known as Renner, there is a painter known as Van Gogh, there is a painter known as Klee, there is
So,
a painter known as Cézanne, Picasso, but nobody had seen it. Nobody had done these paintings. In 1948, S.H. Raza comes to Kashmir, stays here for full summer, and interacts with local artists and tries to bring them towards the modern art. You are doing only these goddesses, Bhagavatis, puja paintings, temple. There, it's fine. It's also painting, but the world has a different art to present. You have cubism, you have expressionism, you have
impressions,
abstracts,
expressions.
you have figurative abstracts. So many things are there. You are stuck up in something which is not the modern world. So,
Yes.
studying every Trilok Koul, he was friendly with Trilok Koul, he was friendly with P.N. Khachru, he was friendly with this Bhatt Sahab,
Somnath.
Somnath Bhatt. He surveyed all the artists, stayed for some time in Punjab Hotel. This Pran Kishore has told me that those days in Punjab Hotel, you had a Lipton tea. Lipton tea had freshly come, maybe 30, 20 years old. So, malai dal ke, they would put cream on the Lipton tea. We went, he said that we went to the Punjab Muslim Hotel and saw Bhatt Sahab, Somnath Bhatt, and S.H. Raza sipping malai dar Lipton tea. So, out of all the artists, he was fascinated by the drawing and the color sensitivity of Somnath Bhatt. He picked him up. I will train you in the modern art. These are 5, 6 books. This is a book on Van Gogh. See this sketchwork. This is a book on George Barak. It's a paint Barak. Barak, you say, it's a French painter. George Barak. Barak. It's a book of his paintings, LA's, line. So this you study, you make drawings of this. Bhatt had done some paintings. He had gone to Bombay before. He had done learned art in Bombay, and he'd come back, and he had some knowledge of this modern art, but not the traditional art, not the secular art, not the Mughal art, not the miniature, but he had some knowledge. But this man Raza introduced this art to him. So he started seeing these books and drawing paintings. It is for the first time that Kashmir saw something new in paintings. The allays, the barracks, the figuratives, the roads, paths, houses, still life paintings. Bhatta was the first artist who brought this to the canvas of Kashmir. Of course, he was followed. Yeah, they were together. Tralokol also did. Tralokol went to Baroda, and PN Katru also did. He was interested, pleased, happy to see three artists: Tralokol, PN Katru, and Bhatt Sahab. Bhatt Sahab, he was more affectionate towards Bhatt Sahab because of his originality, and he would call him by his family name, Lassa. Oh, Lassa, come here. I
Yes,
have
yes.
been told by
You've written in your blog
by
also. Yeah.
by Pran Kishore ji that to Bhatt Sahab, S.H. Raza would say, Lassa, come here. Lassa, this is good. This is good. Read this book. Read this book. So Bhatt Sahab would draw all these paintings. Through Bhatt Sahab, many artists would come to his house. Many artists like say Bansi Parimo would come to his house. Umesh Koul would come to his house. Some Nisar Aziz would come to his house. Some more people would come to his house. They would observe what he is doing. And uh, Bharti ji, Umesh Koul's elder brother, Hriday Koul Bharti ji, has told me that when Umesh Koul would come back to his house, he would start copying Bhatta, drawing those LAs, drawing those figuratives, drawing those abstracts. So he would start copying Bhatta. This is Bhatta. Bhatta, I would say that to me, he appears more closer to George Barak than Van Gogh.
Uh, then Van Gogh.
Of
But he's
course,
known as Van Gogh.
certainly, of course, certainly, his paintings show striking colors of Van Gogh, the emphatic brushwork, and contoured forms,
Controlled forms.
and of course, the turmoil in personal life. Let's not discuss that. Van Gogh too had, and Bhatt I have seen Bhatt sunflower. It is exactly, you cannot differentiate whether Van Gogh has done it or Bhatt has done it. It's so perfect. Some still life paintings. Unfortunately, Bhatt Sahib's paintings decorated many houses, many households. His lovers were Bakshi Ghulam Muhammad, Sadiq Sahab, DP Dar, Dr. Nasir, and Dr. Tahir Mirza. They were his connoisseurs. In
Understood.
fact, in fact, the last exhibition when the Bhatt Sahib needed money, he was in the hospital. He needed money. These people assembled together, organized his last exhibition, and Sadiq Sahab declared every painting has been sold. Then he gave an instruction that every department should buy these paintings. So every department bought these paintings, but unfortunately, some paintings are held with this Academy of Art, Culture and Languages. I could not find them. Uh, I would request them, if somebody from the academy is listening, that you have around 500-600 paintings. They are in a bad shape. Put them, exhibit them, keep a ticket. You will earn. People will see. What is the purpose of putting Bhatt Sahab's paintings, or paintings of Bansi Parimu, or paintings of Tralo Koul, or paintings of Kachru Sahab, or paintings of Nisar Aziz, or paintings of so many people from Kashmir in the
Baru Sahib,
dark,
I've seen
dark
Baru Sahab's painting.
Badu Saab's
Baru's
paintings,
painting.
Badu Saab's paintings,
It
Badu
was
Saab's
taken,
paintings,
they destroyed it. Yeah, it was in a
they
bestial
they are
condition.
in the lock and key, full of dirt. Put them on show, exhibit them, put a ticket, let people see what is their heritage. People
Yes.
will die, the paintings will remain locked, nobody will see them. What is the purpose of Jungle Mein Morna Cha? So this is Bhatt Saab's personal. He belonged to Badiyar Bala.
Yes.
And when S.H. Raza stayed for some time in the hotel, then Bhatta brought him to Badiyar Bala. In Badiyar Bala, you had a very brilliant artist, Bhushan Kao. He stayed in Bhushan Kao house. So Bhatta was 24 hours available to the artist. He would go, he would learn from him. He has picked up many things. And when in 49, Bhatt gave an exhibition in Bombay, he was called a new star is born on the horizon of the art in the world.
Yes. You have written
Bhatt
in your blog. I read this.
Statesman, this is the news in the Statesman published.
News. Okay.
So much was Bhatt intimate with the social life. In fact, Mahmooda ji, the principal of Women's College, when Bhatt died, she came to Bhatt Sahib. Son has told me, Ramesh, who is a friend, my colleague in the bank, Bhatt son, Ramesh Kumar, he told me that we were small children when my father died. So Mahmooda ji came to our house. She threw the shawl on the ground and sat with my mother. My mother's name is Jayaji. Jayaji, he was like my brother. I have also to observe in typical Kashmiri we say Mecho Dokas Bihun. I have also to sit. I have also to mourn him. He is my brother. You don't know who is dead today. I have to sit for the mourning. I have to sit here for 10. So much he loved by the cross section of the Kashmiri society, enormous affection, but he remained unsung. His work, I don't know, it has vanished from many institutions. It has vanished where it has gone. Maybe
Very
someday
bad.
we'll see his work in some gallery of modern art in maybe MoMA
Like
in New
Van
York or in London or somewhere else.
like
But
like Van Gogh selling in millions of rupees, but
yes, 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 yes,
nowhere
yes.
nowhere in his kith and kins and family. He doesn't have the possession of the name.
He about Bhatt Sahab, I used to have seen his three paintings. Spectacular, spectacular. You cannot distinguish whether this is a Van Gogh art or whether this is a Degas art, whether this has been done by. I saw one landscape, whether this has been done by Pissarro or by Somnath. But he is comparable with them. He is comparable with them. So, unfortunately, much of his art lies with people who cannot appreciate art, and it has not been whatever is available with government, whatever is available in the academy, it has not been put to public scrutiny. It should be put to public scrutiny so that people see it, people write it, people appreciate it, and people convey how great artists lived with us in the recent past.
There was a painting and tourism department also, which also disappeared recently. There
Yes,
was a
yes, yes.
thing.
About his influence, his Bhatt Saab's not only this S.H. Raza, Percy Brown. He was
Percy
principal
Brown,
of
yes,
art college, yes, Lahore, and then he was principal of this college in Calcutta. He had married Captain Talbot, who was resident commissioner of Kashmir, his daughter. Muriel was his daughter. Muriel has written poetry. Chinar leaves on Kashmir. There's a poem, Panditani, Kashmiri Panditani, in that poem. So, in fact, Muriel, a girl, was brought up in Kashmir. She was a lover of Kashmir, and she told her husband that when you retire, we'll settle in Kashmir. I love Kashmir. It is just like England. So when I think 1935 he retired, he came to Kashmir, Percy Brown. And Bhatt Sahab had
settled.
direct access to Percy Brown. Percy Brown. Bhatt Sahab was painting something on the Bund side, always going to the Bund. He lived in a houseboat. He lived in a houseboat near the Bund, this club, Srinagar Club. When you go around the Bund, last point you get Srinagar Club. He lived somewhere there. The name of the houseboat was Catherine. He had named the houseboat with his wife. His wife's name was Catherine.
It is
So he
is
lived
it
in the
is it
houseboat.
is it Percy Brown who used to see
Percy Brown. Percy
who
Brown.
used to see
And
Butt painting every day on the roadside
yes,
performing his painting?
on the
Tell us
bund,
about that.
painting bund, landscapes,
Tell us about
doing
that.
landscapes on the bund. Then he called him one day. What are you doing? I have seen you. You have a fantastic hand, brush. Come on, give exhibition. He encouraged him. In fact, he gave him lessons on expressionism, some other modern
Expression.
styles, gave some books. But Saab is, I don't know where the books, but Saab would liberally give books to his friends. I have been told by another artist that Bhatt Sahab donated a book to me, foreign book. So he gave some books to him. You read these books, see these books, hold exhibition. You are comparable to the world's greatest artists. This is Percy Brown saying to Bhatt Sahab. And then Percy Brown is buried in Kashmir. He died in Kashmir.
Yeah,
In
he was settled.
Amira Kadir cemetery, he is buried there. So one of the inspirations to Bhatt Sahab came from Percy Brown.
Percy Brown.
S.H. Raza, Percy Brown. S.H. Raza certainly is a big connection. Percy Brown was second connection. Third is Mulkraj Anand. Mulkraj
Mulkraj.
Anand. Mulkraj Anand is also a lover of art. Mulkraj Anand was also a lover of Bhatt Sahab's painting. Nobody has written it. I have done some research on Mulkraj lover. Also advised him to go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. He went to Bombay again. He gave another exhibition in Bombay. Balraj Sahni became his friend. He stayed in Bombay for some time. It is there in Bombay that he started getting addicted to liquor in Bombay because of the Balraj Sahni's company. Ramanand Sagar, I am told, Ramanand Sagar would also appreciate his art. So Bhatt Sahab had a variety, a galaxy of admirers, not in the Kashmir Valley, but across the globe, even Englishmen, some English men.
Mota
So
Sahab,
then,
I want to just intervene here. I want to ask, as an analyst and architect and a researcher, what do you find? What is a departure from Bhatt Sahib's style of painting to the rest of his contemporaries, like Kachru Saab, like Jugal Koul, like all others? What is the departure?
they are almost same. The
Almost
local
same.
also adopted the abstracts and figurative abstracts and modern art. Kachur Saab also adopted the same. In fact, all the three they were known as trios in Kashmir. A trio. They are the founders of Progressive Art Association in Kashmir.
Yes,
Bhatt
Progressive
Saab.
Art Association,
Uh,
which was a
and
branch of the Progressive Indian Progressive Art Association.
yes, yes, yes.
Progressive,
And
progressive, right?
it was a branch of the Indian Progressive Art Association. And I forgot to tell you, whenever Hussain, Maqbul Fida Hussain would come to Kashmir, he would invariably meet two people, one Bansi Parmu, one Bhatt Sahab. Bhatt Sahab did not live after 73, he died. He did not live, he died very young. He
Yeah,
would
he was.
invariably meet Bansi Parmu and he would praise only two artists. Of course, Trilok Koul, Kachru Sahab, but his friendship was closest with Bhatt Sahab. He would come, all the three were employed in School of Design. Kachru Sahab, Bhatt Sahab, and Trilok Koul. So invariably, Maqbul Fida Hussain would go to the School of Design and meet all the three and meet especially Bhatt Sahab and pat him. Pat him.
You
Yes.
know, I mean, I wanted more slightly. I want more insights into Raza's, because Raza is something who fascinates me a lot, because his work is so illuminating, so wonderful. I really want to know what. Slightly, could we expand a bit of Raza's role and
Raza, I
any other teachers for
Raza,
you?
Raza did modern art. Initially, he did modern art. After Kashmir, he came to Kashmir. In Kashmir, people used to call him, he would roam on streets. He would roam on streets and draw sketches. Kashmiri did not know what modern art is. People would say he's a CID man. He's a man from the CID. He has
CID.
been deputed by the government. Sheikhullah has sent him. He is on watch. Be carefully dealing with him. And these people, some people, these Bhatt Saab, Kachru Saab, Trilok Koul, they are with him. They are also CID agents. So they were, but he gave the first exhibition in downtown, क्या कहते हैं, Mujahid Manzil. It was crowded. It was crowded. People saw that the person whom we were calling a CID man, he turned out to be a fantastic artist. He had painted their streets, alleys, river, Jhelum, bridges, everything, parks, gardens, people doing daily course of life. Raza. Raza did modern art from Kashmir. He went to France, but
France. He
the
settled in
government,
France.
he married to a French woman. He came back to India finally, and then devoted to his roots. His paintings, I would say, they depict the Prakriti, the
Yes.
Shaivism, most of them, and Kundalini.
It
Bindu.
is said that he went for a delusion for some time till he traced the Bindu. He came back and
Yes,
traced the
yes.
Bindu, and
He stopped
from
some art, stopped painting, like our Santosh Saab. He stopped art. When he went to Amarnath Yatra, he stopped and then shifted to Shaivism. It comes, transition period in the life of a creative person comes when he stops. It takes him time to shift from one plane to another plane. It is not momentary. He's not a driver sitting on a steering that he will go left, he will go right.
I will
It's a state
gently
of
go
mind
down.
state. It takes some time to shift the mind to a different line. So a stage, Raza was painting till last day. A stage came, his painting fetched 4.5 million in the market. 4.5 million in the market with Bindu and Prakriti, Kundalini, Yoga, Tantra, many things. He came to the roots of ancient Indian culture. He started putting them on canvas. After traveling through, Raza would say one thing to modern artists: first you make, then break. First you learn to draw a line, then break the line. You are not knowing how to draw a line and you are starting from breaking the line. This is not art. This is not art. You first learn how to draw, how to paint, how to sketch, and then you go for modern art. Then you go for figuratives. Figuratives. I would tell one thing more. Raza's painting fetched 5 lakhs. But we have a young painter from Kashmir, Rakib Shah.
Rakib Shah, I want to ask you
Rakib
that is
Shah. He
Rakib Shah.
belongs
Please
hi,
say something
he
about Rakib Shah. Just a
he
little bit.
belongs to business family from Kashmir. I have seen his work. I've seen his paintings in MoMA exhibition, New York. He belongs to the Kashmiri family, studied in Calcutta and then moved to England, studied art there. I can say he's above every present artist. His drawings, his paintings, his style, and he's integrated the traditional arts of Kashmir with his paintings.
Oh,
They are intense. So many color schemes are there. There is a cultural what's the combination in his art, traditional
combination.
art, cultural combination, poetry, stories in his he is selling. He has crossed Raza's market. His painting sold for 4.5 million.
That's so wonderful. We are proud. We should be proud.
Yeah, we feel proud that we have a painter of Rakib Shah's stature in the world today.
That's so
His
wonderful.
paintings, you must see, you must Google it out and see his paintings, see his work.
Who are the disciples of? Who are the disciples? The great disciples of Somnath Bhatt? I mean, who still exist, and does his art, which he learned, which
Some
he elaborated in his time,
some people may admit,
still?
I will say some people may admit, some may not admit, but to my knowledge, 30, 40 painters, they have been influenced by Bhatta. 30, 40 painters. Ah.
That's good.
Bansi Parmu would come to his house. Many painters. I will not name names are endless, but they would come to his house and learn painting. Umesh Koul, Bansi Parmu, Bharti Sahab told me that they would come to their house, take his books on credit, give us for 2 days, 3 days, see what they have done. And it is their greatness. They copied from the books, they learned from the books, and they applied the concept of neti neti. Many painters, of course, they went to
Yes.
Batsab, and Batsab was liberal. He would draw a painting, gift it to somebody. He was on personal front, personal life, a little careless, not money minded, not commercial. He would paint, pass it out to him. And suddenly I found that his paintings are not available. Even the family does not hold a painting.
That's very
Family does
tragic.
not
That's
have it.
very
Family does not have a single painting of Batsab. It
unfortunate.
lies with it's very tragic.
Yes, Avtarji, I would like to say one thing more about Somnath Bhattji. I want to say that institutionalization and development of art in Kashmir post Amar Singh Institute, post Raza period, art is incomparable. You cannot compare one art with another. But certainly, there are certain experimentation for the sake of experimentation. There is a demand. There's a time space of demand, time space of demand, evolution of any art in the world. Even its commercial angle as well. You talked about the Rakib Shah, because this is a whole dynamic process. Do you think that the concept, the core concept of Somnath Bhatt's, which he probably derived and inspired by his master and understood his work, is it still prevailing somewhere as a separate current, or it is just amalgamated and it is forgotten like a river in the sea?
Batsab has been forgotten. People don't know him. People don't know him. Batsab is forgotten. There is no institution named in his memory. People don't remember him. His paintings have gone into hiding suddenly. They are not available. And some paintings are with the Institute of Music and Cultural Academy. They have been locked and put. They are gathering dust over there. I again request them. I again request every person who has Batsab's painting to put them on display, show to others, let them see what is our heritage, what is our art, what he has done. He was a pioneer, what he has done. At least in this Academy of Art, Culture and Languages should open locks of the room where the paintings are gathering dust, put them to exhibition, ticket the exhibition. There are many spaces, halls are available free.
I mean, उतनी गैरत होनी चाहिए, उतना conscience आपकी इतनी, it should speak, you should collect it, because he was a great maestro. He was an unsung maestro.
Yes,
This will be a
yes,
tribute to the
yes.
society as a whole, Kashmir as a whole, India as
Tomorrow,
a whole.
tomorrow you will say there is no evidence available of the Batsab did not exist. We don't know any
Yes.
person within Nema, but
Anybody will,
these paintings will be in American museums. We don't know. If the Kashmiris don't not know who is Bhatt, then who will know it? So to
yes.
make him known to Kashmiris, to our state, in Jammu, people of the state, who must exhibit his work. Exhibit his work. Whatever
I
is
must
available, put it on display.
I must tell all the wonderful spectators, esteemed watchers of this program, it is Avtar Motaji is the only source, not on the internet, otherwise also. His blog is the only source to know about this great maestro, this unsung maestro, which we know as Van Gogh of Kashmir, Somnath Bachchan,
I would say that Professor
Humayun Kabir.
Humayun Kabir, the Minister of Education, was an admirer of Bhatta. I have seen a letter Humayun Kabir writing to government that he is a wonderful, fantastic artist. I opened his exhibition. He inaugurated his exhibition in Delhi in 1949. I have not seen any artist in India like him. Rehabilitate him, put him somewhere. That is Humayun Kabir's words about Bhatt Sahab. I have seen his some two or three paintings in National Gallery of Modern Art in New Delhi. The rest, maybe around 100, maybe 120, 150, are with people in households and with the Academy of Art, Culture and Languages. They are
That's
they are unseen. They are unseen by the Kashmiris in general.
that's very despicable situation. Such a great artist, probably. It will be a very great disservice to the country, to the place, the crown of our country, Kashmir, and to the artistic community as a whole, that we are not able to display and collect his art. And he will die one fine morning. We'll see just few paintings of his. This great maestro
They,
alone.
they must be stolen. Many paintings have been stolen. I saw some stolen paintings in American museums. They will be stolen. We have courtesy art thieves, enough art thieves in the state, in Kashmir also.
Yes,
Art
people
is
try.
stolen. Art is stolen. Art is stolen. It is an ancient story, not today only. Since times immemorial, the art was created. It is stolen. And I will tell you, our commitment to art is not that serious.
Hmm.
Uh, I will one incident I will tell you. Gamal Abdel Nasir. He
Yes.
headed the Egypt. Once what happened? The head of the Ramses II statue of Ramses II, his head fell into the Nile. Nasir
Oh
did
God.
not sleep for 3 nights. He was pro-Russia. He telephoned the Russians day and night. 100 calls he made to the Russians. Brought the Russian engineers and got the statue head of the statue dug out from the river bed, and then wrote a line on the statue. We thank Allah the Almighty for restoring our heritage, which had
Yes.
fallen into the river.
I think we Kashmiri
So
should take note of this.
this type of commitment, our leadership also lacked towards art. Towards art, we were gifting the tiles of this Harvan.
They used to
Harvan
carry
tiles, where I am told when some VIPs would come, they were given packs of Harvan tiles. They would be surprised. Can I have one tile? Yeah, sure, sure, sure. Hey, this is a
my
tile.
my God, my God.
We
Such an
have gifted
ignorance,
our art like that.
utter
Then
utter
stolen also.
chaotic.
Then not commitment. The commitment is like Nasir, Gamal Abdel Nasir. This commitment. He did not
They know
sleep
this
for.
heritage. They know
And
their culture.
and when he constructed the Aswan 2 dam, many old temples they got inundated. He created a hue and cry in the world. Take our heritage, save it there. We don't have money. The Americans came, they lifted the stones of the temple of Dendur, shipped them to America, and you have a reconstructed temple in Museum of Modern Art,
Oh,
Met Museum. They reconstructed Nile, they reconstructed the temple. It is here I cite personally. This is the commitment. He said that it will be saved here. We don't have money to protect this heritage. I don't want this heritage to be washed away by water.
that will be saved here.
He gifted to Spain to save it there. So one he gifted to the American. That is the commitment.
That's so, Taji. It's so wonderful. Maza again. We really enjoyed every bit of this conversation. We want to go on and on, but certainly I would like to say that you are a poet, and your poetry, you write a very profound pieces of poetries. Probably you write in Kashmiri as well as English, and
Yes.
I have you have recited once or twice, and I really loved them. Could you please will sum up this today's session with one of your wonderful two-liner? You also wrote dohes, probably dohes and other poetries. I don't know. You can tell us about and just recite a bit.
2 minutes. I will read a different type of poem that I have written. I will finish this program and this program with the poem Barish, rain. When there is sudden rain, you
Okay.
are emaciated with the heat. You are sweating, and suddenly you have clouds and rain starts. What I have written. The name of the poem is Barish. I will read it. दूर पेड़ पे चिड़िया बैठी गर्मी
Uh,
से झुलसाई रे दूर पेड़ पे चिड़िया बैठी गर्मी से झुलसाई रे ताल तलैया सूख गए सब लू चलती हर जाई रे अब के
uh,
रामा खेत जलेंगे क्या गर्मी बरसाई रे
uh,
हाड़ के ढांचे ना बन जाएं कैसी विपदा आई रे नौ सेकंड पार्ट स्टार्ट तभी अचानक बादल उमड़ा आंधी आई जू 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 छत खपरेल हवा ले भागी बिजली कौंदी तड़ 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 और अचानक घुंघरू बांध के पानी बरसा छम 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 पत्तों ने
that's
ताली
beautiful.
मारी है पत्तों ने ताली मारी है सीटी बाजी हिस 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 घर आंगन में जल ही जल है आओ चिड़िया फर 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 गलियां कूचे बहता पानी सूखी धरती फिर से धानी नाच उठा है भूरा बंदर हरा समंदर गोपी चंदर बोलो मछली कितना पानी दैट्स इट
That's
थैंक यू वेरी मच
so Oh, wonderful! I find some nadims, some usage of
यस
those, there's
इमेजरी
bird sounds, imagery, and
यस
imagery is wonderful. Your imagery is beautiful, wonderful. It's original. Thank you very much, Avtarji. You came. It was a great privilege and great honor.
थैंक
Your
यू
magnanimity. You were part of the Shitalath conversation, the whole phenomenon, and thanks a lot that you visited. We are really delighted. Best of luck, good luck, and good wishes. Thanks. Thanks a
थैंक यू
lot.
एवरीबॉडी थैंक यू माय लिसनर थैंक यू
So that was Avtar Motaji. It's always a great session with him. A delight to talk to him. He is an encyclopedia of knowledge, and his knowledge is pure. He's in search of the truth, and whenever he comes to the fore, it expands and touches our hearts. Because wherever there is truth, it will definitely go. It will transmit and trust into the other people's heart. So that's why we love his conversations, we love his knowledge, we love his work, and there is a very simplicity, a serene simplicity in his work, and this wonderful poetic lines of his. I'm really smitten. I'm really what do you call it? Fascinated by these beautiful imageries he has driven in this poetry. Beautiful lines, and it has a metaphoric meaning as well as to the contemporary times. And it tells about, probably it tells about what I have heard. I will listen to it again. It tells about both the aspects of extremities, and then signifies it through a beautiful landscape and the sounds of the birds and imagery. So that was a wonderful session today. It will be a memorable one, as other memorable sessions of Avtarji are there. We'll bring him again and again, because this unsung Maestro series will continue. So we'll bring forth more treasures in the near future. Thanks all for joining today, gluing in today's program. I'd like to conclude not without Ghalib couplet. मेरी किस्मत में गम अगर इतना था, मेरी किस्मत में गम अगर इतना था, फिर दिल भी यारब कई दे होते. With that beautiful line, I'll keep you brooding on this particular line. And thanks a lot. Pleasure being with us tonight. Good luck and good night.